You know, it's such a pleasure to see everyone here tonight because for those of you that don't know, this process started about a few years back in July 2011 when Mayor Gray had a vision to make the District of Columbia the greenest, healthiest, most livable city in the United States. And in February of 2013, we released a plan, an aggressive plan, to help us achieve those goals. And here today, we're celebrating the first year of progress of Sustainable DC. And I'd just like to give my staff and my sister agencies and you, the community, a hand in helping us achieve what we've achieved thus far. And with that said, I'd like to introduce our mayor, Mayor Vincent C. Gray, who will report on the first year's progress of Sustainable DC. Mayor Gray.
I hope you all have gotten a copy of the plan that we're going to talk about tonight. You can read either one of these, and I promise you they will be the same. We really are excited about this in all seriousness, and we think we've got a fun evening planned for you. First, I'm going to outline what I think is the good news about what we've been able to do during this first year working on the Sustainable DC plan. You've already heard from our Director of the Department of the Environment, Keith Anderson, and I don't know whether our Planning Director is here or not. If she shows up, we'll give her a chance to have a few comments as well. Ellen McCarthy, who was just appointed 2 weeks ago, but she's somebody who is quite experienced and stepped in for Harriet Trigoni when she went off to take another position at the federal government. In fact, what Keith alluded to was that in July of 2011, I called in two people. One was the director of the Department of the Environment and the director of planning, because I wanted to hear from them what it was that we were doing on sustainability in the District of Columbia. And we had a few things going on here and there, but there was nothing coordinated, there was nothing cohesive, there was nothing comprehensive. And I felt at that stage it was time for us as the nation's capital to step up and do more. And that started a planning process that then resulted in the issuance of our plan last February, as Keith indicated. The plan has lots of initiatives in it. We'll talk a little bit about that. And I hope that you all will be pleased with the direction that we are heading. We think the selection of Langley, frankly, is a good choice because it is a wonderful example of an innovative partnership in sustainability with demonstrable, demonstrated, if you will, results thus far. Langley participated in the Department of General Services Green Schools Challenge, the Sprint to Savings, as it was called. And over the course of 3 weeks, students and staff here at Langley and other participating schools shut down unused computers. They turned off the lights. Boy, isn't that a good thing to do? And they lowered the heat at night to reduce their electricity consumption. At the end of the day, Langley was the winner with a 30% reduction in electricity. So congratulations to my junior high school alma mater, Langley Education Campus, which is now a pre-K through 8 school. I would ask you all to look around the room, and you will see how you can get involved in similar sustainability measures by taking advantage of the great resources displayed in the Community Action Fair, which is, of course, around the room and outside areas of the room and so on and so forth. And again, working together, we can make even more progress than we've made to date. When I called for the creation of the Sustainable DC Plan back in 2011, I said we needed to aim for the top. We wanted to be the best. We wanted to make our city greener. We wanted to be the greenest, the healthiest, and the most livable city in the nation, if not in the entire world. And the change isn't just about environmental sustainability. It's really about sustaining our city, ladies and gentlemen, our people, and of course sustaining our environment as well. After more than 12 months of input from literally hundreds of volunteers, we released the ambitious plan that we're demonstrating the progress on tonight, showing our results. We released that plan that contained 4 challenges. 1, growing jobs and the economy. 2, improving health and wellness. 3, ensuring equity and diversity. And 4, protecting the climate and our local environment. Tonight, I'm happy to report that the first year of implementing the plan has been a tremendous, unqualified success. They say you should make every day Earth Day, and that's what people all across the District of Columbia in increasing numbers are beginning to do. This is especially true within the district government. Our agency directors and staff, some of whom are here tonight, are working and every day working hard to be able to move towards leading the nation with innovative ideas. There are 143 actions, and of those 143 actions, 83% of them, this, by the way, is a 20-year plan, 83% of those actions already underway, which is up from last Earth Day. 9 actions are already completed. If you do the math, that would put us ahead of the 20-year trajectory. And 104 are now included in the performance plans of 27 different agencies. You may have heard about some of our biggest successes. For example, how many of you all have seen the playgrounds that we've done? There are 25 unique and innovative new playgrounds that are in place, and we started working on those about a year and a half ago, and there are at least 15 more that we have to go. We have planted citywide 9,280 trees. We have 10 more green schools that have opened, and 5 more community gardens are ready for the spring. I see you shaking your head, and I know that's a big thing for you, sir. In any event, some of the other actions that you may have seen, but may not have seen actually, and will play a very significant role in our city's future include things like 1, a new building code is now in place to ensure greener, more efficient buildings. 2, new storm water regulations will help clean and protect streams and rivers, and clearly will help us with our goal, and that is to be able to make the Anacostia River swimmable and fishable. For those who don't know, who knows what percentage of the Anacostia River is actually in the District of Columbia? Anybody know? I know you know. You better know. And I know you know as well, so you better know. How about anybody out here who's not connected with one of our agencies? How many people think it's 60%? 50%? 0%? It's actually, people think it's a lot bigger percentage than what it is. It's actually 18%, 18 to 20% of the Anacostia River is in the city, which makes it an even greater challenge for us to be able to clean it up. But we are seeing progress already. Thirdly, we now have an environmental literacy curriculum, which is rolling out in our schools citywide. And fourth, thousands of affordable housing units are being completed or already are under construction in the District of Columbia, and every one of those projects is a green house. We're making substantial investments to build a more sustainable city, ladies and gentlemen, and we're putting money everywhere we possibly can. Our innovation challenge, through which city agencies compete for funding, has provided now $8.5 million for new agency projects, including the anti-idling police cruisers. We now have, I think, close to 100 of those. They actually are very interesting because cruisers, by definition, are going to be in neighborhoods, and they're going to have their engines on typically, and oftentimes are burning up gasoline and emitting, fumes that include pollutants. Well, our anti-idling devices are actually battery operated, and they actually allow the cars to be operated by battery, and they recharge themselves so that we don't have to burn gasoline and avoid the dirty emissions and, of course, generate cleaner air in the course of it. Secondly, solar, green, and cool roof projects for schools and recreation centers have now become commonplace in the city. Thirdly, in addition to the trees that I mentioned before, there's 1,500 additional trees for our parks and our schoolyards, and new kitchens, greenhouses, and nurseries to expand urban agriculture also are in place. Now, the fiscal year 2015 budget, which we submitted to the Council on April 3rd, just about 3 weeks ago, the plan makes major investments in capital projects. For example, $4.2 billion for 139 capital projects over the 2015 to 2020 budgets. This includes more green schools, more green recreation centers, more streetcars, greener roads, and more green and affordable housing, which I alluded to earlier. My administration also has made progress this year in terms of policy as well as legislation. With the help of the City Council, we got past the Sustainable DC Act of 2012 and now have introduced the Sustainable DC Act of 2013, on which we hope to get action in the next few months. The latest proposals would ban styrofoam, take-out containers to help clean out our streams and our waterways across the District of Columbia. It would provide incentives for natural gas and electric vehicles to reduce air pollution, and would expand access to pre-tax transit benefits for employees citywide. We're also looking further down the road and charging 11 task forces of agency and private sector stakeholders with tackling complicated questions like how can we grow our green economy? Secondly, how can we ensure green and healthy, affordable housing in the District of Columbia as a routine matter? And thirdly, how can we ensure access to healthy, affordable food and beautiful parks all across the District of Columbia? Some of you may know that we invested $40 million in NOMA. How many of you all are familiar with NOMA? It's a relatively new community. Good. Well, we invested $40 million in helping to create green space in NOMA so that we don't wind up with an entirely asphalt or concrete experience as new housing and new businesses and new offices are built in NOMA. And so you're going to see lots of green space developing in NOMA over the next several years. All across our government, agencies and their private sector partners are working smarter and working together to be able to create a sustainable city. Our Sustainable DC effort is coordinated with a number of other agency initiatives like Play DC, which is DPR's new master plan for our parks, Move DC, which is DDOT's new master plan for transportation, Resilient DC, the Department of Health's community-based plan to protect residents in the event of disasters, Age-Friendly DC, which is a block-by-block strategy to ensure that older adults can stay active, connected, and happy in the District of Columbia. Those four plans working in concert, we think, will facilitate the kind of support that Sustainable DC needs in order to be successful. Now, as you can see from the dedicated community organizations here tonight, public-private coordination is at the heart of creating a sustainable city. We have organizations, businesses, and institutions making real investments to support this effort. First of all, our universities our largest private sector employers in the District of Columbia are greening buildings and expanding courses in sustainability. Our embassies, and we've entered into agreements with our embassies, are installing green roofs and enhancing energy efficiency. Downtown building owners are promoting energy efficiency and neighborhood improvements through the DC Smarter Business Challenge. In fact, it is really uplifting to see how so many of our private sector businesses and employers have really grabbed the baton and run with it in terms of creating a sustainable city. And more than 50 winners of the Mayor's Sustainability Awards are working hard on projects in schools, businesses, museums, and our neighborhoods. All this progress, I think, is exciting, but in many ways, we have to recognize that the work is just getting underway, and that's why we have a 20-year process in which we are engaged. I hope, like me, I hope all of you are proud of what we've been able to accomplish together over these last couple of years. And I'm certainly committed to doing whatever I can do so that the district can make even more progress in the weeks and months ahead. We will also push ahead on some of our toughest challenges with efforts focused on increasing community equity, job and business growth, and again, focusing on creating as much affordable housing as we can in the District of Columbia so that people who want to live here have a chance to live here and don't feel pushed out by the prosperity that we've seen over the last several years in the District of Columbia, the increasing population, the fact that we have increasingly large numbers of professionals, young professionals who are moving into the city who are bidding up the price of housing. And as they bid it up, our job is to invest as much as we can in keeping the pricing down. That's why last year I chose to invest $187 million in creating more affordable housing. We have a commitment for another $100 million in the current year 15 budget, and by 2020 it will allow us to create, we started out saying 10,000 new units of reserving 10,000 units of housing. Now it's up to 12,000 units of housing as we try to keep our city affordable. Today, we are number one in use of renewable green power, but we also can be number one, I think, in reliable, affordable energy. I don't know how many of you all are familiar with our undergrounding project. We reached an agreement with Pepco. That was the process in this instance may be as valuable as the outcome. To be able to get the Public Service Commission, the government, the People's Council, and Pepco all in the same room and work for 9 months to be able to create more energy reliability or electric reliability in the District of Columbia. Trust me, that was no mean feat. It'll be $1 billion that will be spent over a period of 7 years. And the good thing is that for the average ratepayer, the average residential ratepayer in the District of Columbia, the increase initially will be around $1.50 per month, and it will rise to a whopping $3.25 per month, because the biggest ratepayers are the federal government and the district government, and we have figured out how to use our federal highway dollars as DDOT works on the streets to be able to help facilitate the opening of the streets, which we would be doing the work anyway, that will be paid for by federal support. Today, the district is number one in green and healthy buildings, but we also, I think, can be number one in healthy adults and healthy children in the District of Columbia. Today, we are number one for installing green roofs. Did you all know that? That we have more green roof square footage in the District of Columbia than any other city in the nation. We have more LEED certified buildings than any other city in the U.S., and we're going to continue to try to move in that direction. In fact, if you look at energy consumption by the government, we have made a commitment to use 100% of our energy being renewable energy, and that is a commitment we've made to be able to achieve in the next couple of years. I think we've got a great foundation to work from. And I'm really proud of what we've been able to do to get to this point. I'm proud of the number of people who've come out tonight and the people who continue to work with us to be able to achieve the ambitious goals that we know we can achieve if we work effectively together. We're going to have a lightning round now. You've already heard from Keith. I see, is that Ellen? Is that you over there, Ellen? Would you like to come up and say a few words? We've already heard from Keith. And then we're going to move, as she comes up, we're going to move into, I guess what we call a lightning round. We have 9 organizations that will have 3-minute presentations. And I know you want to make 90-minute presentations or 30-minute presentations, but just do the math and you realize that won't work tonight, especially for those who want to get home in time to see the Wizards win the second game against the Bulls tonight. So let's hear from Ellen first, and then I'll mention the organizations that are coming. I'm really asking you, please try to stay to the 3 minutes, because with 9 organizations and 9 presentations, that can get really difficult really quick. Please join me in welcoming our Director of the Office of Planning, who is back for her second stint in the District of Columbia, someone who I've known for a long time and I've enjoyed working with her. She is the quintessential professional, Ellen McCarthy.
And in fact, with apologies to Bob Peck, from whom I am borrowing this joke, just to show how serious the mayor is about sustainability and recycling, he's now even recycling planning directors. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for joining us tonight. I want to acknowledge the hundreds of people who volunteered to get us here today. In 2011 and 2012, I had the pleasure of working from outside the government as a volunteer facilitator for one of the 9 groups that led to our final sustainability report. And I was so impressed with the knowledge and the enthusiasm of the citizens who participated, who came out there night after night and contributed ideas and worked through the set of recommendations. The ideas and the energy that were generated then continue to guide us, and the innovative programs continue to grow from all across the community. We remain committed to spreading the message of sustainability. In the first year of implementation alone, we reached over 6,000 people. And in fact, if we can meet with your organization, your school or business, extended family, some, assorted in-laws, whatever, please let us know, because we'd be happy to come out and spread the message and get more and more people knowledgeable about Sustainable DC and participating to help us grow our efforts. Tonight, we have a new group of 50 volunteer ambassadors. They're starting their work of talking to their peers one-on-one about sustainability. Would our ambassadors please stand? And yes, let's give them a round of applause. This is really an exceptional group of people that were chosen from a very high-quality pool of applicants. Thank you, ambassadors, for your commitment to sustainability. We're also beginning new neighborhood challenges to engage more residents across the city. We'll be starting in the Hickey Run area of the city to promote stormwater management this spring and summer. 2 neighborhoods have also taken the vision and goals of Sustainable DC and brought them down to the neighborhood level, to neighborhood scale, and we're thrilled and hope we see more of that in the coming years. So, a big thank you. As you've heard, there's impressive action being taken across the city on behalf of the Sustainable DC team at the Office of Planning and the District Department of the Environment and all of our sister agencies. Thanks so much for all you have done. But as Mayor Gray said, and as we've heard from Director Anderson, there is still so much more work to be done. There are several excellent organizations here tonight, along with several wonderful government programs that you can participate in. I encourage you to sign up for one or maybe several of the of the programs that you'll find the information about tonight. I also encourage you, if you're not already registered, to register for our monthly Sustainable DC volunteer events list so you can be notified or find out about our other events contributing to a more sustainable DC. Projects are sprouting across the city, and we want to see the momentum continue until the whole city is green. So let's hear from some of the organizations that are already doing important work in sustainability and are here to tell you how we can get involved. The lightning round. While they're coming up, let me just say these 9 organizations each will have 3 minutes to explain their work, as well as why and how you can get involved in their programs. Pay attention, because after they're finished, they'll be available at the Sustainability in Action Fair to sign you up. We'll start with the Anacostia Watershed Society and continue right on through the Capital Area Food Bank without formal introductions in between. Are you ready? All right, let's get started.
I think we have all 9, right? We got the Anacostia Watershed Society, Capital Area Food Bank, Casey Trees, DC Sun, DC SEU, Sustainable Energy Utility, Going Green Today for DC Challenge, Groundwork Anacostia Neighborhood Farm Initiative, and Washington Area Bicyclists Association. Each will have 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Ariel Tron. I'm with the Anacostia Watershed Society. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to cleaning up the Anacostia River. This year we're celebrating our 25th anniversary. So for 25 years we've been working to not only clean up the Anacostia River, but also re-engage the community with the river. So we have lots of ways for people to get involved. Through our recreation programs, we run a paddle night series in the summer. So these are free events every Thursday starting in June and then running through the summer and into the fall. We're going to have 25 paddle nights this year in honor of our 25th anniversary, and those are at rotating locations along the river. If you want to get your hands dirty and come out and help with a cleanup or a restoration event, we have lots of volunteer opportunities. We have a big focus on wetland restoration, so if you'd like to come out into the mud and get some wetland plants in the ground, that's an option. We also do trash trap cleanups. We maintain a trash trap in Nash Run, which is in the Deanwood neighborhood. If you don't know what a trash trap is, it's a structure in a stream or a tributary that collects the trash in one location before it gets into the river, so we can collect it there. And we can also keep track of the data, so we can collect information about what types of trash are coming in and use that to impact legislation, such as the bag bill. And finally, we have our education programs, which is a great way for both students and adults to get involved. Our youth education programs are 3-part service learning programs where we go into the classroom and work with students, talk to them about the issues facing the Anacostia watershed. Then we bring them out on a field trip to the river. The younger ones come out on our pontoon boat, and older students come canoeing. And then finally, we engage them in a service project. So this spring, we're working with a lot of students on wetland restoration through our Rice Rangers program, where they grow plants in the classroom and then bring those plants out and transplant them into the marsh. We also have adult education programs, so we run a Watershed Stewards Academy. If you're interested in learning more about stormwater management, that's a 13-week course, and then you complete a capstone project to mitigate stormwater, have a positive impact in the community. So those are just some examples of ways you can get involved with our organization. We have a table at the back. I encourage you to stop by, or you can also check out our website, which is anacostiaws.org. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Paula Reichel, and I am the DC Director with the Capital Area Food Bank. And today I'm going to tell you about how the Capital Area Food Bank works to create food security in the DC community, why it's important, and how you can get involved with us in a very succinct manner. Each year, the Capital Area Food Bank distributes 45 million pounds of food to the nearly 100,000 people in DC who are food insecure. 1/3 of which are children, in addition to the hundreds of thousands of people in the DC metro area who suffer from hunger. We do this through a network of 500 independent partner agencies, many of which I'm sure you've heard of. And we work with our partner agencies to build their capacity to better serve their community and to help their clients to help their clients make healthy choices. So we know, and the sad reality is that hunger is here, hunger is in the district, and we need you to help. And there are many ways that you can do this. If you are new to the food bank, I would always recommend you come and check out our facility, which is in the Brookland neighborhood in DC. We have lots of volunteer opportunities within our warehouse. We have a wonderful new conveyor belt that allows us to sort food more effectively. But if you don't like being inside, we also have a nearly 1-acre urban demonstration garden where we teach our agencies about food growing, and you can get your hands dirty that way. If you have a specific culinary or nutrition skill set, we run Cooking Matters courses in the community, and you can volunteer to be a Cooking Matters culinary or nutrition instructor. We also have run a mobile marketplace in our community, which are free farmers markets that are open to qualified residents. But for those people who may be more experienced, we also have opportunities. We have a neighborhood captain program where you can really take control of the hunger dialogue in your community with the support of the Capital Area Food Bank. We also encourage you to engage your friends, your colleagues, your family in hunger alleviation, potentially bring everybody from your workplace to the food bank to volunteer. And we also have, quickly, a free hunger summit this Friday. How timely is that? It's at the food bank from 9 until 3 o'clock, and I encourage you to check us out and to register, and I thank you for your time.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sue Earhart, Director of Education for Casey Trees. How many people have planted trees with us? Let's see them. Be proud. That's right. Well, we are, of course, excited that today is Earth Day, but can anybody tell me what holiday is on Friday? Arbor Day, that's right. So that's our big holiday where we want to celebrate not only planting trees, but maintaining trees. So getting the trees in the ground in some ways is the easiest part, but keeping them alive for future generations is what we think is really the most challenging part. And that's where all of you come into play. So we would love for all of you to help us either plant trees. We do that every weekend in the spring and the fall. And you can come out. You don't have to necessarily know how to use a shovel or a pickaxe. If you do, that's great. If not, that's okay. We'll train you up. You can also become one of our citizen foresters. Do I have any citizen foresters out there? Okay, well, I have some work to do. Citizen foresters, those are the people that take classes and they learn how to do tree identification, how to plant trees, and we also have a new program to become tree advocates. And that's where you're going to talk to your neighbors about how to protect trees, how to take care of trees. And in the summer, we really want your help, especially when it's those days of 105 heat index, and you're going to come out and help us water trees, the thousands of trees that have been planted, not only by the district, but by Casey Trees. We were started in 2002. We're a nonprofit, also in the Brookland neighborhood, and we're always looking for partners to help plant trees. So our deadline is May 1st. If you have a community group, church, school, neighbors that want to plant trees, we'd love to do that. Go to our website, caseytrees.org. And we also want to start working with little kids. We have a summer camp where we partner with the National Arboretum, and you can come and we'll teach you about trees and nature programs. Thanks, and hope to see you out. Have a great Arbor Day.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ted Trabue, and I am not from DC Sun. I know your program says DC Sun is on the agenda now, but I guess the clouds prevented the people from DC Sun coming in here this evening. I am the Managing Director of the District of Columbia Sustainable Energy Utility, and it's a pleasure to be here this evening to talk about some of our programs. First of all, I'd like to thank Charlotte Spann, who is the principal of this great middle school, and how much we enjoyed, as the Sustainable Energy Utility, working with her and her staff here to help Langley achieve that 30% energy savings in just 3 weeks. We have a tremendous staff here. Thank you for allowing us to work with them. Mr. Mayor, thank you for your leadership, you and the Director of the District Department of the Environment, Keith Anderson, for your leadership on the sustainability movement. This has really taken the city leaps and bounds from where we were just a few years ago. And thank you for your continued leadership and your stewardship in this area. It was about 3 years ago that the District of Columbia started the Sustainable Energy Utility. And you don't get hung up on that word utility. We are not like Pepco or Washington Gas who sell you a commodity. We were brought here to the District of Columbia to help you save on the consumption of that commodity. And we run about 10 programs here in the city to help you reduce the consumption of natural gas or electricity in your homes, in your businesses, in your institutions. We work with everyone large and small, from the George Washington universities, you're familiar with George Washington, Mr. Mayor, and hospitals here, all the way to residential homes in the District of Columbia. But the District of Columbia had the foresight to do something that no one else in the country has done. It wasn't enough just to help residents and businesses save money and save electricity and natural gas. They wanted to create opportunities for employment for district residents, create opportunities for contracting and business for certified business enterprises who are located here in the city. And they wanted to make sure that money was spent in the low-income community, because but for the investment that we have made in the low-income community, oftentimes the low-income community is left out of the energy efficiency programs that are run nationally. Ours is a unique model in the nation where we have energy efficiency and social equity goals embedded. And to that end, last year, we created employment opportunities for 400 district residents. We had 400 residents working with us. We spent over $5 million in the certified business enterprise community, local businesses doing business here, helping them grow. We invested over $4 million in the low-income community, helping low-income residents save money on their energy bills. And finally, and this is where I want to make sure that all of you get involved, how many of you have a CFL in your house? All right. And for those, so the rest of you who didn't raise your hands have LEDs in your house, right? Right. We participate with 50 retailers here in the District of Columbia, Safeway, Giant Foods, many, many more. And if you go to the back, Jay and Peter are over there. They will help you. We sold over 225,000 energy efficient products last year. Please join the bandwagon. It's quick, easy savings in your home, in your business. Thank you very, very much. It's been a pleasure.
I'm with the Do It for DC Challenge. The Do It for DC Challenge is a citywide initiative designed to return $136 million back to the local economy by reducing 614 million pounds of carbon off of DC's carbon footprint. How we do that? We teach each individual how to reduce 1/3 from their carbon footprint through a 90-day personalized green action plan, giving them step-by-step guidance on how to save money a little bit every day and a little bit of carbon every day. They go to dc.goinggreentoday.com and they sign up for the challenge. It's like I said, it's a 90-day eco challenge. They log online, you log online, you're going to answer a couple questions about your lifestyle, and it's going to kick out a personalized action plan to meet you where you're at. Green, one size green does not fit all. Everyone's got a little bit, their lifestyle's a little bit different. Some people own, some people rent, some people go to school, some commute, some don't. So based on your lifestyle, this program is going to pick the best 90 actions you can do. And it's going to email one to you every morning. You're going to also get a personalized dashboard that will show you your exact progress and allow you to pick what goal you want and how you're going to achieve it. Inside that personalized dashboard, you'll also see how Washington, D.C. is doing as a collective and as a community. So with even lofty goals like we're talking about, the way we're going to do that is by each person and using online smart technology to connect each person who signs up. As of today, we've been rolling along for about 2.5 months, and we have close to 1,350 people signed up. So we're well on our way. You know, we can get there. You know, if you sign up, you get your 90-day action plan. Every action is really simple. It could be as simple as unplugging 2 appliances in your household, all the way to household adjustments, larger kind of projects, caulking, adding insulation, caulking walls, all the way to some examples would be adding more power outlets to your house. It really runs the gambit. It's 9 main areas of green living. So once you sign up, your every vote that every sign up that happens is a vote for sustainability. And as much as I've butchered this over as we've gone, I think the message is sign up at dc.goinggreentoday.com. Save your $2,000 in the next 90 days. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Dominique Skinner with Groundwork Anacostia River DC. I'm a little nervous, so bear with me. This is my first time speaking in front of a big crowd. One thing we do with Groundwork Anacostia is help with the restoration of the Anacostia River. So with that, we manage 3 bandelong systems, which are they're litter traps, and 2 of them are in the Wasp Branch Stream. So the Wasp Branch Stream is the largest tributary to the Anacostia River. So it flows from Maryland into Northeast DC. So with that, we have a maintenance crew that goes out and clean the bandelong. We also have volunteers, so if you would like to volunteer, you could sign up with us and volunteer and come and help clean out the bandelong system. Another thing we do with Anacostia, Groundwork Anacostia, is we have a youth development program. Our youth development program is a green team program, and we're housed in DC public schools. So we work with 4 different schools in DC, Dunbar Senior High School, H.D. Woodson High School, Cesar Chavez Public Charter Parkside, and Seed Public Charter School. And with those schools, we have a stream project. So we teach the students about the environment. We also teach them about water restoration. We also teach them about Watershed and what's in the watershed. So they do water monitoring, and they also do microinvertebrate testing to see the health of the stream. And so with this, we have like an online virtual stream that the students are able to use in their classrooms. So you all can help with that as well. And with this, we partner with Kakapen Institute. Also, we have projects that we partner with the Anacostia Watershed, like the Wetland Restoration Project, where you all can come out and help with the wetlands and help plant native plants in the wetlands. So there is a number of things that we do. We also offer green jobs, and I have a sheet with the green jobs on it in the back. So you can come check us out and visit our website, which is www.groundworkdc at groundworkdc.org. So thank you.
My name is Kristen Brower. I work with the Neighborhood Farm Initiative, and I just want to do a quick poll. So how many people currently grow their own food, which is trees, fruit trees, vegetables? Good. How many people want to learn how to grow their own food? You should visit our table. And how many people like access to fresh, organic food? Hopefully everybody's hand is raised. Me too, which is why I work for the Neighborhood Farm Initiative. So we are a nonprofit organization that just teaches people basically how to grow their own food. We're located up in Fort Totten, right by the metro station. So all you have to do is get off the metro station and walk down a nice green path, and there we are. So if you live in a small, tiny apartment and you're looking for a way to get outside and get your hands dirty, you should learn a little bit more about our programs. We offer formal programs. We offer a 3-season long, well, basically a year-long program, which is our adult garden education program. We have our summer, fall, and winter. We give you your own plot. You get seeds, tools, and weekly instruction to bring you from seed to harvest. And everything that you grow, you take home and you eat. And we offer a medicinal herb program, which is seasonal as well. We will be starting a nutrition cooking education class where you're harvesting everything from the garden and learning how to cook it, and then also eating as a communal group. If you don't want to sign up for a program, if you're a little bit more, you just kind of want to get started, we offer volunteer opportunities twice a week, Wednesday evenings and Saturday mornings in our demonstration garden. It's a fun way to just get outside, even if you've never had any kind of experience. Everything that's grown there is actually donated to different area food banks. This year it's donated to Thrive DC. So if you're interested in also just learning about food donations, please stop by us or Capital Area Food Bank. Anyways, so we'll be in the back if you have any questions, and happy growing. Thanks.
Hi everyone, my name is Shane Farthing and I'm the Executive Director of the Washington Area Bicyclist Association, and I'm going to be very brief because I know the first rule of advocacy is don't stand between the mayor and his playoff game. How many folks out there ride a bike? Great. This is easy. For you guys, come to the back, sign up for Bike to Work Day, because we need those numbers. We need to show that bicycling is growing in the district, and Bike to Work Day is the best way for us to get that piece of data. So if you can ride your bike on May 16th, come back, put your name down, we'll get you all signed up, that's great. Everybody that didn't just raise your hand, do you have a good reason for not riding a bike? Anybody? Because that's the rest of what we do, is we do the work to make it so that everyone who wants to ride a bike can. About this time last year, we were with the mayor doing the Golden Scissors thing on the L Street cycle track. And since then, we've got the M Street cycle track underway. We've got First Street that actually, you can ride it now. It's pretty much completed. So you can go down the hill here and take one of the Capitol bike shares down and see that thing right now. It's ready. This city is growing for biking, and we're doing all of the ancillary work to get that done. We are your advocates throughout the region. We teach education classes. We have over 150 trained bike ambassadors who give everyday biking seminars, commuter seminars. We have a Women in Bikes program. We have an East of the River Bikes program. Everywhere that we see the data showing us that biking is not growing at the rate that we would like it to, we work to improve those ridership numbers and make it so that everyone has the opportunity to get around the district in a sustainable way. That's what we're doing. We have all these programs. I'm happy to tell you more about them in the back. But if you ride a bike, come back, sign up for Bike to Work Day, put your name on the list, be counted, help us to advocate for you. If you're not already riding a bike, come back and tell me why, and I will tell you what program needs to be started, where to plug you in, what we need to do better to make it so you can ride a bike. Thank you.
You know, this was a real microcosm of what sustainability means. If you look at these organizations, there were so many facets of sustainability that they talked about, like, you know, cleaning up our waterways, addressing food insecurity, making sure that we have trees in our presence, being able to engage in energy consumption, growing our own food, and transportation. Energy-efficient transportation methods like riding a bicycle. And I was over today on First Street, and there's a nice new bike lane along there, which actually works out well because it wasn't two full lanes over there. So the bike lane now is taking up the space that the other lane is not consuming for an automobile to be able to go through there. So I think we're moving in the right direction. And Keith and I will take any comments or questions that you may have, and want to thank all of you again for coming out tonight. Anyone have any comments or questions that they would like to offer?
My question is, when we're the #1 city, or we're #1 in several of these items, is that compared against other cities or against other states?
Other cities. That's the best comparison for us at this stage. I really don't know. You may know how we compare to other states, but a lot of what we do on sustainability is looking at other cities like Chicago, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, New York, et cetera, Detroit. You want to add to that, Keith?
No, that's absolutely correct.
Okay.
Okay. A second question. What can be done about the recycling of commercial buildings, the condos and apartments who have separate trash and recycling cans, but one pickup truck comes and they throw it all together, and there's no enforcement of this, so tons of recycling products are being thrown into the trash?
I didn't, the acoustics in here are not the greatest, so I didn't get everything you said, but it sounded like an enforcement issue, is that right?
That the condos and apartment buildings have the separate containers, but one trash truck comes and they throw it all together.
Right.
Sorry.
I think first of all, if you can report the company to us. Okay. Are you talking about the public pickups also, the DC Public Works? Private companies. Is it, have you observed the companies doing this? If you could give us the names, we have folks who will go out and and try to deal with enforcement with those companies. We can do that, right, Keith? Yes, we can. But most of the trash pickup in the city is done by the city. I know there are companies like, I don't know, there's Ferris and Browning, and I don't know, there's probably not even 10 companies in the city. If you could get the company names and maybe just give us some illustrations of where you observe this, a couple of 3 times of enforcement will have a surprisingly positive effect. And we'd be happy to follow up if you can give us some input on who they are and where you've observed them not, or commingling things that should be recycled with this other trash. We're moving also to, improving how we handle solid waste in the District of Columbia too, which will start to take care of some of that. Keith?
No, that's absolutely correct. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And if I understand you a little bit, I think what you're alluding to is increasing the recycling rate in the District of Columbia. And the mayor has funded a study which is being headed up by Bill Howland at the Department of Public Works to look at the recycling rate in the district, take a holistic approach to increase the recycling rate in the District of Columbia. So that study is underway, and we look forward to some positive results from that to increase not only recycling within the residential sector, but the construction and demolition waste from the construction that we have going on about the city.
All right, this lady over here, yeah, exactly.
Hello. For us front yard farmers like myself, we use compost to help us grow our own foods. Is the city going to get involved with having large-scale compost programs like Atlanta, where you can go pick up free compost from the city?
Yes. Composting? The answer is yes. As a matter of fact, one of the challenge grants that we funded was around composting, and we announced it out at the trash transfer station out on Benning Road. So you're going to see more of that, which is yet another way of taking care of some of our waste in the District of Columbia, and then, obviously using it for a constructive and productive purpose. So the short answer is yes. Right there.
I'm curious what you see as key action steps, the next things that you can do in your time left in office to continue that the progress made under this plan continues.
Yeah, I think, institutionalizing these things into our agencies and doing events like this, there should be a scorecard every year. Having an agency in the lead like the Department of the Environment, that way the program, the Sustainable DC Plan, has a home. And what they have done is work to make sure that the 143 initiatives are now embedded into the performance plans of the relevant agencies, so that it becomes a part of the expected results and performance of those agencies, and they will be measured in one or another way each year by what they've done. And I think the more advocates we have in the city, like the people who are in here tonight, and the people who are increasing numbers around the city, you will hold people's feet to the fire. We really try to create a culture committed to sustainability in the District of Columbia. The first event that we had after we started this was in November of 2011, and we had it at the Convention Center. And there may be some of you who were at that event, and I was really anxious about it because I wasn't sure whether we were going to get, I was hopeful that we would get 50 or 75 people to show up. We had over 400 people who showed up to participate in that event. And I realized then that there's a big following of sustainability in the District of Columbia. What was needed was not so much a catalyst to impel people to action. What was needed was leadership and organizing our efforts in a way that people could rally around something. And I think that's what we've got now, and that is a commitment to sustainability. I was at an event on Saturday Broccoli City. I don't know if any of you were there on Saturday. It was a music event wrapped around a theme of sustainability. And there were during the day, there were about 5,000 people who showed up for that event. So I think we've got some momentum. I think people who try to recede from this commitment or move in another direction, I think they're actually going to be held accountable, especially by the people of the District of Columbia, because I don't think people are going to have it. I don't think people are going to backtrack from this or recede from this commitment. One more? Over there.
I, too, appreciate the trash cans and the recycling bins. In the meantime, what I'd like to know is, don't you think it would be a great idea for one of your alma maters to have a solar roof that cuts through the red tape installed right above here?
Yeah, started with cutting through the roof, huh?
And then?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I think Dunbar actually, with the new school, Dunbar has a number of energy efficient methods that it's using. I don't know if it has solar or not, but it has some ways in which it's generating energy now that are really truly 21st century. It'd be great to have Langley or Logan have one too, but you're going to see more and more of our buildings, public buildings, having solar power or other ways of generating energy. We now have in the Department of General Services, we have a unit that is focused on sustainability that's headed by Sam Brooks. And so that ethic, if you will, that culture is being embedded into the modernization and construction of every building in the District of Columbia.
We volunteer to be the roof that starts in September. And while you're at it, how about a bike path on Branch Avenue?
A bike path on Branch Avenue. How come you picked Branch Avenue?
Pardon me?
How come you picked Branch Avenue?
That's where I live. So do you.
That's right. I don't know. I tell you what, I live on Branch Avenue. I'm smart enough not to ride a bike on Branch Avenue at this stage. You got some folks that haven't understood yet. All right, thank you all very much for coming out, and let's keep the momentum going.